If you're an entrepreneur who doesn't know everything you need to know about your money, then there's one of 4 things keeping you from it as a rule. I'm going to go over what those 4 things are today, and on one of them I'm going to do a deep dive because it's the most important one and it's the easiest hurdle to get over. So I'm going to show you how to get over it, and when you're done with this, you're going to know exactly how to make that sheet of paper that has numbers on it make sense to you in a whole new way as an entrepreneur. The 4 things that tend to keep entrepreneurs from looking at their finances, the acronym I use is SOFT, S-O-F-T. Shame, overwhelm, fear, and time. We know that's what the 4 things are. The biggest one, though, for us a lot of times is a very tactical one, and it's time. We don't have time to be able to look at our finances. This manifests itself in a few ways. Like if you have a bookkeeper and you get reports, it'll manifest itself like, this makes no sense to me. I know this is wrong. I just want to know where my money went. For God's sake, let me just shove this in a drawer and I'll look at it again next month. And you know what happens with that drawer? You keep shoving reports in it year after year, and this is what your drawer ends up looking like in no time at all. It looks like a file cabinet with folders all over it because now there are months of reports that you've never looked at. But let me tell you something. A sheet with numbers alone on it is something that will always waste your time. All right? So if you're currently getting or creating or generating a piece of paper every month to tell you what's happening on your profit and loss statement or your cash flow or whatever you're looking at, and it's just a column of numbers, it is a waste of your time. You should be shoving it in a drawer, and you should never bring it out again. But there's a solution to this, right? There's a solution to making good use of your time when you're sitting and looking at your numbers. As one client and dear friend of mine said, this is the best half an hour I spend on my business every single month. Literally half an hour is all it took. The key is context. And there are 2 contexts that you should always look at your numbers with. You look at it in context. In the context of time, and in the context of your expectations. Once you nail this, everything becomes clearer. You can get answers in a minute, and the most important thing of all, your numbers start to tell the story of your business. Here's the thing, you're an entrepreneur. Your gut knows exactly how your business is operating, right? You know this. You know how money's coming in, how money's going out. If you've worked with me at all or seen any of my former videos, you know how to draw that actually as a picture so that you can visualize it, how the money flows in and out, and how that relates to how your business actually operates. And you know in your gut when you're making money and when you're not making money. So you need for the numbers that you're looking at to support that story in the way you think about it. How do you do that? What happens? Your story evolves over time. So do your numbers that tell that story, right? Your story, you always have something you expect to happen and something actually happens. And the difference in those 2 things becomes more of the story of your business. So you need to look at your numbers in the same way. They need to be able to tell you that story. So let's talk about these 2 contexts, right? The first one is time. In the context of time, what we're doing is taking, instead of looking at a single column of numbers, like say, it's May of this year. Instead of just looking at May on your sheet of paper and going, in May, I made $15. I had expenses of $6. I had net income of $9. That's the sheet of paper I'm telling you to throw out if that's the only column of numbers you have there. If you think about a P&L, and I'm summarizing this a lot just to make it easy, a P&L is a profit and loss statement or an income statement. It tells you how well your business is doing, in short. And usually there are 3 things on it. There's revenue, or the money coming into your business. There's expenses, which is the money going out of your business. And there's what's hopefully left at the end, which is your net income. And if you just have one sheet of paper that tells you revenue, expenses, net income, it's not telling you anything. But if you have somebody give you a sheet with 12 columns on it, and it shows you each of those numbers over those 12 months, then you start to see a story. So for example, I can look now at my revenue in February and March, and I can go, wait a minute, it really dips a lot lower than the other months in February and March. Well, if that's the case, what's going on? Oh, shoot, that's right. That's when all my clients go to Disney World. So now you can say, maybe I'll use Disney advertisements, or shoot, maybe I'll hold an event in Orlando at the same time they happen to be in Disney World. It now is a story that you can actually take and use to make decisions. Another thing that jumps out here on this time scale, for example, wow, my net income totally disappears in September and October. What the heck is happening? Well, you as the entrepreneur know, hey, wow, for the last 3 months, I've been purposely spending more on marketing, let's say. So I knew I was going to have a relatively light month. It makes a lot of sense. But the only reason I did that is because I expected that things would spike in October, November, and December, that my revenue would go up. Here you can look at it and see, oh yeah, it really did go up. So that's how just getting 12 columns on a piece of paper all of a sudden can make that use of your time so much better. So that's thing number one. If you're getting reports out of your own system, if you're having your bookkeeper send you reports, whichever it is, make sure you look at 12 rolling months of information. And here's your to-do. Go do that for your last 12 months and take a look at it and see what story emerges from that piece of paper. Then let us know. Drop something in the comments here and let us know. All right, let's move over to the second context here. The other way to conquer time being an issue for you, making the most of the time that you spend on the numbers in your business. Looking at things versus expectations. Let's just take the February month here, for example. And look at, if you got a column here that says February actual. Okay, if you're looking just at, here's what happened in February. I made $5, I spent $5, I had $0 left. Again, revenue $5, expenses $5, net income $0. Doesn't really tell you much of anything. There's not any decisions you can make in your business based on that information. But if instead you have somebody put those February numbers of 5, 5, and 0 next to what you expected to have happen, everything changes. Now you can look at this and say, hey, I expected to have $12 in revenue. I got $5 in revenue. That's a difference of 7. What happened? Oh yeah, I remember I raised my price. I was selling these at $4 a piece and I thought I'd sell 3. Last minute, I decided to raise my price to $5 a piece and all of a sudden I only sold 1. Maybe I jumped my price a little too high. Now you're spending really useful time on your numbers instead of just looking at a sheet of paper. So that's why you always want to look at your numbers in one of two contexts. You want to see what's happening with them over time. You want to see what's happening with them versus what you expected. Those two things alone, I don't know how long this video took, but it'll take you shorter than this video took to look at those each month. Just make sure those reports get delivered to you this way. And I promise you, client after client after client of mine, people in our membership group, the things they discover by all of a sudden making this small change are amazing. You'll find expenses that you really don't need there, and you'll find ways and information in those revenue numbers that are going to tell you tons of things about pricing, quantity, and marketing. All of a sudden, what used to be a dead piece of paper with numbers on it will come to life as the story of your business and help you in decision making. And that's what this is all about. Hope this was helpful. If you go ahead and do this for last month, drop us a comment in here and let it know how it went, how it went. And as always, if this has been helpful for you, please feel free to share it with anybody else it would be helpful to, and like and subscribe to our channel. We'll keep these coming.